Running your own real estate investment business can be stressful, time-consuming, and difficult to manage. Where do you start? Why go out and try and reinvent the wheel when we have the answer? With our exclusive training program, we will teach you how to free up your time to build your business, develop your goals, learning where to find the money, how to find better deals, keeping track of offers, building a team, and developing a business plan that works for you. We at Real Impact Real Estate Training and Mentoring have all the answers for you. We have several plans to help you get your business to the next level. We have developed the best one-on-one personal training system in the industry. We have a proven structure that has been developed for more than 50 years through the purchase and sales of thousands of homes and commercial properties. We will help you set up and build your real estate investment business. Whether you are new to investing or you are a seasoned professional, we have a plan for you to customize your business to a method that works, is affordable, and fits your budget. With training modules like finding money, finding deals, learning how to get correct comps, building a team, short sales, subject twos, foreclosures, making multiple offers, understanding auctions, REOs, and tax sales, working to build your construction team, and finding sellers and buyers. Find your property management team, plus over 70 additional training modules to choose from. Sit down with us for a one-on-one consulting to see what training plan is best to develop your goals and to build your business by using the 5 M's of investing: mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. Wouldn't your life be great if you can live it on your own terms? We help you develop and structure your business to take massive action. Join the Real Impact Real Estate Training today. Change your life today with real estate investing.
Hi there, Roger Pascal here, CEO of Real Impact Training. I am just blown away with this last week and what we experienced. We had Alan Cowgill in town, but first of all, let me explain who we are and what we do. Real Impact Training. We have your local meetings in your local area, and we work with you to make sure that you have the right connections, that you know the right people, that you know what's going on in your market and not some other market. You know, I have people all the time that call me up and they say, well, how's the real estate market? And they may be in another state, they may be in another city or whatever it may be. And that's like asking somebody, you know, how's the weather in the United States? It's going to be different wherever you go. Most of us, and I think most of y'all that are on this call, are in the Texas area, and we're very blessed to be there. And there's lots of great states for real estate investing. Anywhere is great for real estate investing. You just got to know how to do it. But what we do with Real Impact is we work with you to make sure that you are in the right zone, that you understand who the players are in the area, where to find the money. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to, you know, we have systems set up. We get you a checklist. We build all that around for you to make sure that you're building your business the easiest way that you can, where you're not having a lot of questions out there running into a roadblock because you may not know the right title company to do the right type of deals. You may not know the right lender to do that type of deal that you're working with. Or you may not know how to talk to the seller or how to talk to a realtor or something on that basis. And that's what we bring to you. So CJ is our behind the scenes guy. So CJ, if you can throw everybody on there, on here real quick, and let's talk about what we're doing. I mean, you know, so we have a lot of, there's can be a lot of pitfalls in this business, and it doesn't matter how long you're in this business, you're going to see lots of stuff happening in here. So I'd like to first introduce Karen Maxwell. She's Impact Plano, Texas, excuse me, right north of Dallas. She's also corporate and corporate sales. Then down in the bottom left, we have Eric Short. He's Impact Grand Prairie, South Dallas. So thank you for being on here, guys. And then we have Doug and Renee Toon all the way out in Longview, Texas. And they're having a little storm tonight, so we might see them freeze up a little bit, and we can make fun of them because of that or whatever it may be. Because when your computer freezes up, you're never in a good pose. We all know that. It's like, really? And so well, welcome on board, everybody. Thanks for being on here tonight. I am just absolutely stoked over this last week. I was very fortunate. I picked Alan up at the airport Sunday night, and I wound up spending just shy of 20 hours of driving time with Alan. And we drove by a bunch of Buc-ee's. He never went into a Buc-ee's. We wanted to, but we were always either on a tight schedule, or he was like, no, I'm just too tired. I don't want to mess with it. So he's never been to a Buc-ee's. We're going to have to fix that when he's back down here one day.
Yep.
But yeah, just Alan Cowgill came in here. He is I consider him probably the world's foremost expert on how to get private money, private lending. So let's go around. Let's just talk about what our week was like and what it was being with the day with him yesterday. We had over 100 people in the room over in Hurst. We had well over 30 people that invested in his boot camp, invested in his system. I'll show you what I've got here, but this system here, all the forms that he has, there we go. So all the forms that he has and all that kind of stuff. Well, so let's jump in there and let's talk about it. What are your thoughts? What did y'all see yesterday?
I'll go first. We had so many people turn out for the event. I was pleasantly surprised at the energy with everyone, with their networking. Everybody was so excited throughout the entire day. Sometimes in the afternoon of a meeting like that, of an all-day meeting, you'll see people kind of, nodding off, or maybe they have to get up and go, leave the room and go stretch their legs or something. But I mean, these people were on fire. We didn't leave there till 4:15 yesterday afternoon. And I mean, we were walking out with the last of the attendees just for you to be able to get Alan off to the airport in time. Absolutely. So I couldn't believe all the feedback was wonderful. Everybody was excited. I just absolutely loved it. And I loved spending time with Alan. He was great.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that. Yeah, after the meal, very often a crowd will zone out. We had great food and plenty of it, but the question and answer session after lunch was really good and entertaining and involved. And Alan's a great speaker and kept the audience engaged throughout. It was really good.
Yeah, and nobody left early. A lot of times after lunch, people will extend and they'll come back late or not come back at all on an all-day event because they just, like I said, they just had all they can handle. But nobody left early. It was amazing. Yeah. What about you guys, Doug and Renee?
Well, I can tell you, I've used private money and I love it. I think I've taught the elite meeting private money twice, and every time I've had a big turnout. But this was much more in depth than what I get, and he's got a lot more knowledge than I do about the just so many different various ways to get private money. So,
and the thing, Karen, is when we talk to our real estate investors that come to our meeting and stuff, the number one question I get is, well, where do I find the money to do my deals? Yeah. And depending on what your situation is, you might be self-employed, you may work for someone, it doesn't matter. Your experience with going and getting money from a bank may not be great, but that does not disqualify you for finding private lenders. And because his course is so comprehensive, you walk away going, okay, there's hope. And I'm so excited. And that's I think a lot of people left feeling that way.
Yes. Yeah, I think he described it all. I mean, he explained it well. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that he didn't get to cover, but it's going to be in his system. And that whole be ready to present a deal to a potential lender in 10 minutes blew my mind. I'm like,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Absolutely. You know, I've been using private money for a better part of 15 years now. And I went to Alan's event about 7 or 8 years ago when he was in town. And it was just life changing for me. Up to then, I was just, you know, and I do a lot of subject twos. I don't really need a lot of private money or really any private money when I'm doing a sub two. But you know, when I'm buying traditionally or whatever, I have not used a bank in years. And now it's not saying that I won't go out and put a mortgage on it for a long-term loan once I get it rehabbed and I'm going to lease it out. But you know, what I'm doing is I have 3 private money guys and one's passed away. So I've got 2 private money guys, and the one that passed away, his wife has reached out to me a couple of times and said, I would love to continue to do what my husband did. We loved the return on that investment. And, you know, we had a client, or I had a client years ago that we both went to the Alan Cowgill event. He goes back up to Missouri and he found a distressed apartment complex, had a couple hundred doors in it. I don't remember all the details of it, but he needed $17 million. And he called me up and he said, you know, we did this, you know, what did Alan say? How did we, you know, so we talked about it. And one of the things that Alan said was talk to your CPA. It's not like your CPA has the money. He has the clients that have the money. He or she will have the clients that have the money. And Mike reached out, talked to his CPA, only one guy. And in about 7 days, he had the $17 million to make that deal happen. So, and then, you know, something else that Alan talked about yesterday is how to do syndication right, how to make sure you've got the right forms. And that's what he was selling at that event yesterday is binders full of forms, binders full of information, binders full of checklists. So
Right.
that's what he's reached out for. So it's just a phenomenal day that we had yesterday. I think we've changed a lot of lives. We had, like I said, we had over 100 people in the room. And we were maxed out. Fire marshal said we
were worried.
We were worried. The fire marshal, or they told us before the event that only 95 people could be in the room. So I made sure to ask, you know, if this would be an issue, and they said, we'll let you know if it will be. So, we made that happen. We had a lot of people walk up. We didn't turn away anybody coming in. But we do have, if you look at that link on the bottom down there, CJ, I think I sent you one that was a Facebook link to our Real Impact Facebook group. That's the link right under that on that email. Might be easier for people to get to. So that they can go straight to that link right there. That's a pretty long link right there. That's pretty tough. I think CJ actually has that if you're on YouTube, I think he has that in YouTube. But, or you can reach out to any of us that are IMTs. You can reach out to anybody, and we'll make sure we get that link either text to you or emailed to you or get you on that website, whatever it takes. He had a phenomenal system out there. Started at $9.97. He's got a boot camp coming up in January. That's going to be a virtual boot camp, so you're not having to fly halfway across the country. And so I'm looking forward to seeing all these changes that we see with people, how people are going to change their lives. So Renee, you had something?
Yeah, Roger, one of the things I thought was really interesting is one of the people from our group who's an experienced investor, they've done a lot of deals. They've even dealt with private money lenders, came to the event thinking, maybe I'll learn something. And the reality was they found out that technically they aren't supposed to be getting money from out-of-state lenders, right? Because that's one of the things he went over and covered in this program. And that was the first thing that triggered to them, maybe we need his program. Maybe there's some things we don't know. And they ended up getting it. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's a great system.
Absolutely. And one thing I noticed by going over, the people that were investing in that system yesterday and talking to them is pretty much almost everybody that I saw buying that system were seasoned investors. It was really, usually it's the other way around when you go to an event like this. Usually it's the brand new people that are coming in that really don't have any information. These people that were buying that package yesterday, buying these packages, or investing, not buying, they were investing in those packages, were investors that have been in the business for decades in some cases. And I was really, really surprised how well this whole program works for those of us that are seasoned investors. So I'm looking forward to using this system to expand on my system and to grow my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So Eric, as a Eric, you've done a lot of traditional stuff. You've done some subject twos. You really haven't gone out and, as far as I know, done a lot of private money. I think you just did one earlier, a couple of weeks ago, with some private money involved in that, didn't you?
I did. It was actually a relative. It was my brother, and it was a great way to fund part of the deal. And the relationship with the bank is good to have, but not dealing with the paperwork of the bank is an even better way to go. Even if you use a small local bank and you have a good rapport with them and you know them and you bank with them, it's still so much easier to deal with a friend, family, or associate and be able to provide them a greater rate of return than the bank can, and to deepen that friendship and relationship. It's really good. It's amazing how streamlined this system that Alan provides is.
Absolutely.
Y'all keep saying system. I wanted to touch on that, about the fact that Alan said what he provides is a system. It is a system that will walk you through step by step how to find and attract private money, and how to use the private money, and then how to close and get to the closing table and get that property bought, put some money in your pocket, get your rehab funded, get it turned, and get tenants in there, and then be making that monthly, making that cash flow. And that's what many investors are after, is cash flow. I know not everybody is. I'm just looking for that instant profit, but that's what Alan said. He said this is a system, and
absolutely.
So I'm all for it.
All right. So we just got a text from Pam. She's on the YouTube area of it, so I don't know if she's going to be able to ask any questions, if she has questions or make comments.
She did.
She is actually doing a rehab on. I mean, this lady does more rehabs than most anybody I've ever met in my life. That doesn't, she doesn't have 100 people working for her. She's got a team, but she's always crawling under a house, or she's always, doing something with a contractor, or having to make decisions. So Pam, sorry you can't be on tonight, but listen to us and chime in if you've got any comments about yesterday and what we did. So
yes, she made a comment.
So do we have any side questions yet?
Yes, we do. We have a lot of hellos. Thank y'all all. We have some people that were there yesterday, several people that were there and are giving their comments about how good the meeting was, the event was. So thank you all for posting that. And if anybody else is watching and you were there yesterday, make sure you throw your opinion in the chat, because I'm sure others would like to know how wonderful it was. And thank y'all for joining.
I see a question here from Bruce Harper. He's
gonna,
asking, where do I find cash buyers for my flipping houses? And the way I do those is, one is you network at local REI meetings. We just happen to have a few of those around.
Well, that's his other question, Roger.
Oh, okay. What was his first one?
His other question is, okay, so it is Bruce Harper again. He says, I'm fairly new to Tyler and was looking to make inroads to meet agents in Tyler, Texas. Who could answer that question, Roger?
Well, I think I might be able to throw that out there a little bit. I do a lot of business in Tyler. I live out there part-time. And, Bruce, I think the question is you can find agents anywhere you go, but are you going to find agents that's going to work for you as an investor, that wants to work for you as an investor? So that's why, once again, we push for the REI meetings, because any realtor is going to tell you that they work with investors. I can tell you this. I've been a realtor for a long time, a couple of decades. I used to train realtors. I don't do that anymore because it can be challenging sometimes. But the realtors that get investments are gold, and that's what you're looking for. Is you're looking, so you go to an REI meeting, you're going to meet the realtors that are there consistently, not the ones that just show up once and never show up again. You're going to meet. They need to understand. They're the realtors that were in the room yesterday. We had a ton of realtors in with Alan yesterday. So once again, and I say this about realtors all the time, anybody can stick a sign in the yard. Anybody can be a tour guide, but not everybody's going to negotiate for you. And not everybody's going to help you build your business and understand the circumstances and not just get focused on a commission. Okay. And it all works out. I do things out there as a realtor with people that I make very little commission, but over the lifetime of the deal, I make a lot of commission because they do a lot of deals out there. But Alan or Bruce, that's what you're going to do is you want to plug into the local REI groups. We have one, just happen to have one, Lindale, Tyler area that's going to be 2 weeks from now, I guess, or 3 weeks, whatever it is, first Tuesday in September, right after Labor Day. And then the next 6 days later is going to be Longview the next Monday. So
that's right.
Our second Monday of the month, first Tuesday of the month, 12th. September 12th. There you go. Thank you, Renee. So we have both of those out there. And that's where you're going to meet. That's where you're going to meet people. So go to meetup.com, look up Longview, look up Lindale, look up Tyler, Impact Longview, Impact Tyler, Impact Lindale, and you're going to see what our meetings are and what we're all about. You want to join those sites. You're not going to get spammed with email or anything like that. Meetup won't won't let anybody do that. So we look forward to meeting you out there. So Karen, what else did you have there?
Let me see here. I've got Pam has a question. I'm not sure who can answer this one, so I'll just throw it out there. Out-of-state hedge funds have to use lenders in state to buy properties? That's her question. And we don't have Alan on here.
Yeah, and I don't know that answer because I don't think the hedge fund thing really came up yesterday as far as in-state, out-of-state. Did it? Did anybody hear that?
Nope.
So I think, Pam, we're on the same area. If you heard something, let us know what you heard on that.
Something about Renee said something about that. I'll go about Miriam and them. They have.
Well, yeah. So what our student said that wasn't a hedge fund necessarily, but they were using a lender out of state. And when they heard what Alan had to say about that, they realized, oh, we're not actually following the rules according to the guidelines that are in place for private money lenders. So, but that's different than hedge funds.
The hedge funds, yeah. I don't even know if he touched that. Mainly because most of us don't get involved with hedge funds.
Correct.
Some realtors do, but most of us investors don't.
Yeah. But there were a lot of SEC rules that were covered, and what wasn't covered in the training was available in his program that you could purchase. So
awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
right. Let's talk about some pitfalls that we run into.
Right.
That was the purpose of this meeting tonight. Is we run into some pitfalls in this business because it doesn't seem like everybody wants to cooperate when you're doing a deal. That happens. So, what we're talking about on pitfalls is challenges that you have when you're doing a deal, whether it's as you're buying the deal or after you get it under contract and all the way through closing and sometimes after closing. So, we want to talk about, and what I've got here is maybe some contractor issues, maybe some property issues, seller issues, buyer issues, tenant issues, title company issues. We visited with that a couple of times. And then, of course, money issues is what we just been talking about for the last, 20 minutes or so. So, Doug and Renee do a lot of contracting. They do a lot of burrs and fix and flips and have done a phenomenal amount of houses. So kind of visit with us a little bit, Doug and Renee, about maybe some contractor issues that you have or hidden property issues that you don't see there till you just start digging into it.
Well, so, I mean, what I think is that I don't think there's any business that doesn't have any problems. And our business is racked with potential problems. And Dennis has always said, and I can't tell you how many times I heard him say this, that you have to have a burning desire to do this business. And if you don't, you're not going to get through it because somebody's not going to pay rent on time. Something's going to go wrong with the rehab. Something always goes wrong with the rehab, period.
Always.
Listen, always. There's always something. There's never been a perfect rehab. And the way that we get around these pitfalls is we have systems. We just try to negate the problems that happen. Mm-hmm. And so we have systems for how we buy properties. We have systems of what we do when we buy the property, how we get the contract to the title company, everything that happens after that. Once everything is signed, then you have to call and get the water turned on, electrical turned on, and take care of all of that stuff. And then we have checklists. So everything that we teach and that we were taught by Dennis has a checklist. Yep. And or a packet. So every kind of deal, like we have a sub-2 packet, we have a contractor packet. So that when you find a contractor and they give you a bid and you accept their bid and you go into a contract with them, then they have to sign the dotted line on all the paperwork that's inside that packet.
And why do they need to do that, Doug? What's important about having that kind of thing? What does that do?
It keeps you from getting taken advantage of.
That's right.
And those are I could sit here and explain all that, but that's what we teach to our students.
That's right.
So come on in and let me talk to you about that. So I've been a part of other businesses too. So every business that's a successful business has systems. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have systems and you're working by yourself, Kiyosaki calls you an S. So he's got the cash flow quadrant, right? The E's are employees. The S is a self-employed or Superman, or the S corp. That person has to be there to make money. The B on the other hand, has systems. So when you take a hold of a business, you learn how it works, and then you start to determine what you can do to systematize each and every little thing that you do, every aspect of business. The best example of this that I can think of is McDonald's. Of course, McDonald's is not in the hamburger business, y'all realize, right?
Right.
They're in the real estate business, right? But they do have systems. So if you walk into a McDonald's in Longview, Texas, or in Tokyo, Japan, it doesn't matter where you're at, everything is in the right place. So you're standing at the counter, the hamburgers are right in front of you. You look over to your right, there's the ice cream. Over to your left, far left, that's the French fries. Everything is always in the same place so that an 18-year-old can do it. And that's what you're looking for. It's systems that people that don't have a lot of thought can do it.
That's right.
And
I'll have the Royale with cheese.
Yeah,
That's right.
So that's my take.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't have that system in place when you're working with that contractor, Doug, you said you hit the nail right on the head. Is they will take advantage of you. They will tell you, well, you never told me to do that, or that's not what you told me to do.
Right.
And I've had contractors early in my career take advantage of me and, say, well, that was not in the price. And I didn't have anything in writing. And I know we talked about it. And you know what that did? That made me go out and find another contractor for my next deal.
Yeah.
They'd lose the business over a little, $30 issue. I wanted you to take the doorbell off before you paint it and not paint over the doorbell,
Right.
that type of situation. And sometimes you got to get real picky on that. You got to get, I had a client years ago that rehabbed a house, and she tried to tell me that she painted over all the light switches and all the plugs because that was the newest thing on HGTV. Tried to convince me. So, I don't think it was, but that's what she, and unfortunately it was about a $400,000 house. And I'm like, this is crazy.
No.
But you're right. It's got to be a system out there. So, Eric, I know you've experienced this recently with one of your houses.
Yes.
About finding a issue behind the wall that had a pipe that wasn't connected, and it was out of a bathroom that you seldom used. And tell us, without going into a lot of detail on that,
Sure.
but tell us about what you had to have done because of that little 5-minute mistake that the last guy that rehabbed the house did.
That's right. The flipper from whom I bought this house for my own to live in, before I finished the contract, before I signed the contract and bought the house, the upstairs guest bathroom, the water tank of the toilet was actually reseated into the wall. You couldn't lift the lid off the water tank to look at it was, and he had caulked around the water tank and attached. It was the craziest thing. I have pictures, and I said, no, this can't be the way to do it. Before you've got to address this. I've got to be able to access the inside of the tank. I've got to put the little blue disc in there to turn the water blue. I've got to be able to, all that. So he did. What he ended up doing was moving it forward about an inch using a flange, and he reseated the toilet. And I don't think he put in a new wax ring. And over the course of the following year and a half, every time that toilet was flushed, there was an issue with the toilet tank water, not the sewage water, not the used water, but the new water coming in would drain down the pipe. And I rarely use that bathroom. But when my son moved in with me, he used the bathroom and his mom used the bathroom. And so the water event was much more frequent. And one morning I walked into the kitchen. This was downstairs from the bathroom. And I noticed a wet spot on the kitchen wall, and kitchen walls aren't supposed to be wet. So after investigation, there was major remodeling done because the deck, the subfloor of the upstairs bathroom had to be replaced. The subfloor of the downstairs bathroom, part of that had to be replaced. So it's just, you have to be aware and be careful. Had I been a little more vigilant of his reseating of the toilet, perhaps I would not have had to accidentally remodel 2 bathrooms. So and part of the kitchen, yeah, it shared a wall with the kitchen. So
well, and I don't know how you would ever catch that. I mean, that's just something. But those are issues. Those are pitfalls that we run into. We try to catch those as quickly as we can.
Exactly.
So they don't do the damage that happened in your house. But fortunately, it didn't rot the walls out. It just created a little water damage. You had to get
just a little
sheetrock and flooring and stuff. So
it was more of an inconvenience than an environmental hazard. So it was inconvenient to have that done, but it was necessary.
That's called an offset flange, and I forbid them.
Yes.
But here's the thing, Roger's right. There's no way that you would even catch that.
Yeah.
since it's underneath the foot of the toilet, that say, hey, this is an offset flange. We can't have this. But
Right.
even an inspector would not catch that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
So, Karen, you've been doing real estate for a long time. I know that you've had title company issues out there. So, kind of go through some of those of what you might have done and what you've done to solve those issues and how you learned how to do that.
Okay, I will tell you. Systems. So a lot of title company issues when it comes to closing. Not always the problem, not always the issues with the title company. It's just with the closing itself. So I do remember one time I was really good about, because I'm a system person. I had a system for everything. So when we were going to be traveling, we always made sure that everything was tied up, all the loose ends were tied up before we left. But I had an event that I had to go to, and it was only me. I was going to a COO event, and so I was going for my training for a week, I think it was. And I was sitting in my class, and I got a text from a title company, I can't remember, but they had not put the IRA name correctly. You know, when a lender lends from their IRA to you, it has to be put a certain way. It has to be just like they put it. And somebody made a mistake and it wasn't exactly right. And so we had all the paperwork done, signed, and then we had sent it over to their IRA. They needed 48 hours to look over the documents, and it got sent back saying that it needed to be changed. So now here I am out of town, can't take care of it, and I'm freaking out because we are out of contract to buy the house. So I'm flustered, and it goes kind of also with what Alan was saying this weekend. He said, it's not, who do you know that has money? And so I had a little freak out moment in my class, and I said, I'm gonna have to step outside. I've got something urgent to take care of. I'm about to lose a deal. And they said, well, Karen, tell us about it. What's the problem? And I told them. They said, well, we'll loan you $30,000. And he said, hey, so-and-so, wire Karen $30,000. Karen, write me a write me a note on that paper. I literally sat down and put, I think we paid them like $1,000. Or yeah, I think it was like $1,000. So we borrowed 30 and paid them back 31. But that wasn't for the rehab or anything, but that was just to get that property closed that day. So we went ahead and funded, and then we had to get the other documents done and then pay them back and everything. So it was a hassle, but it's just one of those things. You got to cross your T's, dot your I's. And then we had another one that we were getting close to closing, and I hadn't heard anything from the attorney. We were using an attorney at that time. And I called and I said, hey, any title issues? Are we still looking good to close in 2 weeks? And she said, we don't have a file for you. And I'm like, what? And I went and looked, and I was traveling the day that I sent it to her, and it stuck in my outbox. Mm. It had never sent. So I was like, send, like, you got it now. Can you rush that? So so what I did was I implemented a system that when I send the contracts, I ask for for written confirmation that they did receive it. And I started keeping up with the file numbers. So that was another thing. But again, going back to systems, if I had it, and I implemented a system after that. So, but yeah, that's my couple of near disasters.
Sure. I had a title company I dealt with just recently on subject to property that I'm buying to live in myself, and part of the stipulation was I'll pay the seller half the money up front, and then the other half pending the sale of my house. And the seller and I were both good with this. We put the addendum in with the title company. But the title company was a little freaked out because the escrow officer handling that account had never done that form of addendum. They always saw the entire sum at once. And I had to talk her through and say, it's okay, we can make this work. And we did.
Awesome. Sometimes you just got to kind of coach people along.
It's just communication. And even though they had done many sub twos and even one for me years ago, it was just a wrinkle that they had not experienced. So a lot of it is not just systems, but it's also really good and clear communication.
Absolutely.
You got to call that title company and call that title company and call them and call them and call them and call them, because they may take your paperwork and lay it over on the corner of a desk somewhere until a day or two before the closing and haven't done any of the clearance, so.
Ooh, scary.
That's it. Well, we just had one out actually in Marshall out there, Doug, with a gentleman, Mike, and sorry, my dog's going off here. So, and had to change the title company, and it was they just exactly what you just said, Doug. They set it aside. They didn't touch it, even when the squeaky wheel was getting really, really loud, which was the private lender and the buyer. I wasn't privy on the seller side. I'm hearing this third party because I'm watching it from the sidelines. I wasn't involved in the deal at all, but it was a disaster. And so the second title company had to get it, and they had to start over again because the first title company hadn't even ordered title. They did not even do anything with the file. They just sat it there for over a month. That title company sat there. So,
squeaky wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it just, and if you're not experienced with this and you go out and do it, you think somebody's doing their job, and you get a day or two from closing and they haven't even touched it. They don't even know who you are. And the seller out there, the other party out there, if it's a buyer, they go away. If it's a seller, they might have another deal that they're going to sell it to somebody else. Now you put in this time, this effort, you put in some earnest money, you've had it inspected, et cetera, and the deal goes away because of somebody else. Just a sad deal to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Karen, I know you've had a ton of time. I've been very blessed. I really have not had any in my personal portfolio. I've really not had any difficult tenants to do. I've had challenges, but not anything major. So, do you have any fun stories out there regarding tenant issues? Where I know Dennis had a great. I wish he was on here tonight. Dennis had a great story. He had a tenant that wasn't paying him rent, and he kept just badgering this guy for rent. And then Dennis gets a call. The guy got caught robbing the bank so he could pay Dennis his rent.
Nice.
Yes. So,
because that's where the money is.
That's where the money at. And unfortunately, the tenant did get kind of free rent for a couple of years in a gated community. You know how that works. So, but Karen, give us a good story.
Oh gosh. I had replaced the sewer on a house, my personal house actually. And then we had moved into a sub 2 that we were remodeling while we lived there. And got into an argument with the contractor who was replacing the sewer line because he wanted to cover it. And the city hasn't been there to inspect it. So we were a little concerned, and he wasn't willing to listen. And so he was arguing and fighting outside, and I had to go shut it down and I'm like, no, everybody just stop. Well, sure enough, I rented the city came, inspected it. It failed the inspection. He had done it wrong. So then he goes back and fixes it. And then the city approved it. And then we covered it back up. And then I moved a tenant in there. And about a month after she was there, sewer line backed up. So I had to have it redone. But we put the tenant in a hotel for the inconvenience for the 4 days it was going to take to do the sewer line. And I'm in Dallas for a meeting, and it's like a Wednesday night. She's been there for like 2 days, and the hotel calls me. And they're like, this person that y'all came and paid for to stay with us for 4 days has passed out at the breakfast bar, drooling, and the room reeks of weed, and she's got a dog in there and her boyfriend, and we've never had to kick somebody out of a hotel, and we have to kick her. She needs to be gone. We need to remove her. And they had to have the police come and remove them from the premises. And the girl was like, "What am I supposed to do now?" I'm like, "I don't know. What am I don't know how to help you."
Yeah.
So she went back to the house and just stayed without any plumbing. But it was, that's my crazy story. And
Wow.
Renee, what about you? Do you have any
Gnarly,
good stories
man.
about tenants? Oh, did we lose Doug and Renee?
I think they're cutting out.
Oh,
they're
you're
on mute.
muted. You're welcome.
My husband keeps
What
saying that.
What a great story, Renee.
Wow.
Thank you. Well, you know, when Doug started investing in real estate, he was doing it with his mom. I still lived in Dallas, and in one of the houses in in one of the little towns in White Oak, and the tenant, was progressively getting late, later, and then later. Every month they just got a little bit later until they were almost a full month behind. And, life issues, there was probably going to be a breakup between boyfriend and girlfriend, that kind of thing. Stuff happens. I get that. Well, they were, but that's neither here nor there. Bottom line, we knew we had to get them out, and we ultimately were getting prepared to evict them and didn't even know what that was going to exactly look like. But they ended up moving out, and the disaster that you have to deal with when somebody's not planning to move out, the mess you have to deal with. And if you weren't smart enough to say you can't have dogs in the house, just imagine. I won't go into any detail of all the things I got to clean up, but let me just say it wasn't fun. And so we learned what not to do by the road of hard knocks.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, if you're sitting out there thinking, I'm going to get some renters in here and make $600, $700, $1,000, $1,200 a month on this property, whatever your property looks like, if you don't have a system in place, you are going to walk the road of hard knocks as well. And it's not going to be fun. And so I'm so thankful that when we connected with Real Impact and we were able to implement those systems. I mean, I'm going to give you a nugget here. If you're brand new and you've never done this, here's a nugget. When you rent your house, let's say you're renting it for $1,000 a month. I need to make $1,000. You tell that person you're renting it for $1,100, but if they pay early or by the first, you'll only charge them $1,000.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be a problem, right? Because you were planning on paying your rent on time, right?
That's right.
Right. And
that's a Dennis thing.
So there's a nugget.
There you go.
Just keep it's amazing how, and you know what? We have renters that pay us on time, month after month after month after month. It works. So.
To be honest, we used to do that when we had, I think, like up until we hit like 50 properties. So when you do that for 50 properties, it's kind of difficult to see that discount go away, see how much you discounted. But you have to remember, because what we did was we stopped it. We cut out the early payment discount. Well, what happened was that we were already charging more because, like you said, if you need to rent it for this much, you add the extra and then give them that discount. That's the spread, right?
Right.
So it was okay. We weren't really losing that money, but when you saw it on the spreadsheet, it looked like we were losing a lot of money, but we weren't. But our tenants are paying on time. And when we cut that out, bam. They lost their incentive to pay early and on time. Therefore, now we're having to chase tenants down, and we've had the tenants show up at 2:00 in the morning with the music thumping, putting the cash in the mailbox. And I'm, what are you doing? Oh gosh. We're like, you can't do that. Got to bring his cashier's check. But gosh, there was one more thing I wanted to say, something about the system that Renee was talking about.
Well, even just our tenant handbook that helps and our contract that's in place, it's already ready to go. These are parts of our system that are already there, so that when you sit down with a potential renter that's going to rent one of your locations, it's spelled out for you, and they clearly understand what the expectations are, what the guidelines are. And if you need to evict, you've got grounds to do it right there because it's all in black and white.
And they've signed it.
And it's usually in bold. I remember listening to that the other day that Dennis said if it's bold on a contract and then they initial beside the bold, we always went through and everything that was bold, we put initials, had the tenant initial it on our orientation with them because they know. And their initials are right here. That means they read this. So
that's right.
Yeah. So Dennis has done this for years, and that's what we use. It's his system to manage our properties and contracts and all that good stuff. So,
and Karen, you said it earlier. That's what we do. Not only do we have a system, we follow a system, we teach a system.
Right. Yeah. We do as we say.
And we live the system, just as Karen said.
And it's so much easier because if we were talking earlier about habits, and I'm fixing to start Atomic Habits. I'm really excited for that book. But so whenever if you do something enough time, what is it? 30 days? If you form
21
a habit.
days. 21 days.
I got to do it 30. But if you develop that habit, then it's just second nature. And if you have your checklist and you go by but if having a checklist, but you don't go by the checklist, you're not going to have something. So it's really funny. Like yesterday we needed Sharpies and name tags, and someone had their meeting the night before, and that's on their list of things to have with them for their meetings. And so we were able to go out to our car, grab the stuff that we needed for that meeting, because we ran out. And so we brought them in there, and it was great because we have systems and checklists.
Right. Absolutely.
Just love it.
Good deal. We're gonna start wrapping it up. We do have a couple of things here. Karen, do you want to talk about the getaway?
Absolutely. Real quick, Bruce Harper, we're going to give you my number at the end of this so for you to call me, and I'll get you connected with Debbie Davis in case if she doesn't want to put her phone number out there for y'all to connect, or if either one of y'all want to put your phone number in the chat, that's fine too. There's no way for anybody to communicate in the chat with each other individually, but we'll take care of that.
And the chat goes away after the call, so it's not saved on YouTube or anything.
Okay. So mastermindgetaway.com. That's where you want to go if you want to join us for 5 days at Dreams Jade Cancun in September. We are going the 21st through the 26th, and it's only $1,295 for 2 adults, all inclusive. We're talking meals, drinks. They have a pool. They have several pools. They have a kiddie area for the kids to go play in if you want to bring your children. We go on excursions. Those are not included. You do have to pay extra for that. One of the groups is renting a yacht. We're going to take a yacht over to Isla Mujeres this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. And if you want to attend, this is just a mastermind getaway. So we go and we network and we mastermind and we hear stories. I can't even tell you how many stories I've heard at the mastermind getaway where we are talking to someone and then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the solution to my problem. And then the next time I go back to my room, I'm like telling my assistant, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's try this. And then I go about my merry way. We had 62 people with us last year. And Roger, how many do we have signed up so far?
I think we're over 70 and we'll run out of rooms. We have a limited amount of rooms. I think we just have a handful of rooms left. So
yes, we do actually have a cap. I always wanted to say my job or my purpose with Real Impact is to always make Impact have to have a bigger room. So every meeting, every event, even our IMT meetings, where our room is getting kind of cramped for all of us. But that's what we can't go over so many people because then they change it to like convention status or something. And then we would lose our rate. So we do have a limited number of rooms left, but we do have some because we have to buy another block. And so if you want to get into mastermindgetaway.com, pay your $12.95 and we will see you there.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. A couple other housekeeping things we've got here is our next big events that are coming up is going to be in December, and we're going to have the second and third Saturdays of December is going to be an all-day sub-2 training. So get with us. We'll be talking about it at our November meetings, some September meetings, but no September, November, or I'm sorry, October, November meetings. But we're gonna have one in Hurst, which is where we had Alan Cowgill yesterday. Phenomenal facility, free parking, huge parking garage. The food was fabulous. The event space was great. It wasn't really cramped. It kind of got cramped because we had more people there than we expected, but we had to put out some more chairs. But it's going to be there the second Saturday in December, and the third Saturday in December, it's going to be in Plano, Texas. So it's an all-day subject to training. You get all the documents with it. You get all the backup information. These are very successful. I've got a great testimonial from a gentleman that went to one of my classes in the next 12 months, picked up 25 houses, sub-2. So we're going to have that. And then next Sunday on this call, we're going to talk about why we need mentors. And we all have mentors. And everybody on this call, everybody on the panel right now, we all have our mentors.
Sometimes multiple mentors.
Absolutely. So, depending on, but mentors are out there to hold you accountable. That's one thing that Dennis taught me early on. And I'm like, how come your system works when others aren't working as well? And he says, because I hold people accountable. And that's what we do. And he holds us accountable. We all hold others accountable, and it works very well for us. So next Sunday night, 7:00, we're going to be talking about why we need mentorship. We're not going to talk about a mentorship itself. We're going to just talk about the reasons why and what mentors have brought to the table for all of us.
Awesome.
So other than that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Do y'all have anything else out there?
The link for Alan Cowgill, if you want to order the system and you didn't get to order it yet, if you missed the event yesterday, you can still get the system. The link is in our description box in this video. So if you'll click I think it's a down arrow beside the video. Let me look. Yes, there's a down arrow by our title. And that's where you click that and the description box will pop up. I don't know why they had to make it so difficult to find stuff. And it's the very top there. It's the Infusionsoft link, and that will get you right into the order form. You can, if you order just Alan's system, choose the no boot camp option. But if you want to go to the 3-day boot camp, which I highly suggest, then choose the $14.97 option. But if you're not getting the boot camp, then you have to click no boot camp. Right, and the boot camp is a virtual boot camp, so he's going to be holding that in January. Also, next week, I don't know if it's going to be Monday or Tuesday. Alan's checking his schedule, but we're going to hold a Zoom call just for the people that were at that event or since then have bought into the event. It won't be open to the public if you were not there. And now, if you registered and you couldn't make it for whatever reason, I have one young lady that her car broke down, so she couldn't get there because her car overheated. So be reaching out to her on a special basis, but it's not open to the public. This is for people that have attended his Saturday event and or have bought his system. So we're going to try to do a series of Zoom calls. He's a busy guy. He's hard to track down. So we have that in place. Other than that, Renee.
So y'all are going to send out an email to the attendees or the people who purchased so they know when that Zoom call is, correct?
That is correct. And we'll get that out there to everybody. Just waiting on Alan. He's recuperating right now, I'm sure. But he was gone for a week. You know how it is when you leave town for a week? You've got like 4 weeks worth of work to get done. And
I did laundry, cleaning, exercise, mopped an entire 2,000 square foot of house.
There you go. That's what it takes. So, but we'll have that in place. We'll see y'all next Sunday night. We have some great events coming up in September, everybody. And thank you for being on here. Great call. Had a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody that was on the call and making comments, Bruce and Debbie and Matt and Dennis and everybody else. So
I forgot to give my number. Sorry, Bruce, write my number down. It's 903 445-6023, or there's my other number, 469-364-9558. Either one, there's my email. Feel free to reach out to me, but I've just remembered that in the description box, we also have all the group links. So if you want to find out about the Lindale meeting, go to the description box, find the Lindale meeting. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on MeetUp.com, and we expect to see you there on August 6th. Is that right? I mean, September
Lindale is
6th.
going to be the first Tuesday in August, whenever that is.
I think it's
the 6th. Yeah, I think
September
you're right.
6th. Okay.
Somewhere there.
So yeah, we look forward to seeing you all there.
Right.
And if anybody wants to reach out to anybody, all of our information is in the description box below.
There you go. All right. Good deal. Thanks, everybody. Doug, Renee, I hope you get some rain without any damage. All right. Good deal. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Y'all have a good evening.
You
See
too.
ya.
Running your own real estate investment business can be stressful, time-consuming, and difficult to manage. Where do you start? Why go out and try and reinvent the wheel when we have the answer? With our exclusive training program, we will teach you how to free up your time to build your business, develop your goals, learning where to find the money, how to find better deals, keeping track of offers, building a team, and developing a business plan that works for you. We at Real Impact Real Estate Training and Mentoring have all the answers for you. We have several plans to help you get your business to the next level. We have developed the best one-on-one personal training system in the industry. We have a proven structure that has been developed for more than 50 years through the purchase and sales of thousands of homes and commercial properties. We will help you set up and build your real estate investment business. Whether you are new to investing or you are a seasoned professional, we have a plan for you to customize your business to a method that works, is affordable, and fits your budget. With training modules like finding money, finding deals, learning how to get correct comps, building a team, short sales, subject twos, foreclosures, making multiple offers, understanding auctions, REOs, and tax sales, working to build your construction team, and finding sellers and buyers. Find your property management team, plus over 70 additional training modules to choose from. Sit down with us for a one-on-one consulting to see what training plan is best to develop your goals and to build your business by using the 5 M's of investing: mining, money, maintenance, marketing, and management. Wouldn't your life be great if you can live it on your own terms? We help you develop and structure your business to take massive action. Join the Real Impact Real Estate Training today. Change your life today with real estate investing.